and bless us throughout this week and in the days ahead. And so we are grateful and give thanks and say amen. Amen. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Well, they need to be cut.
Yeah, he didn't tell me that part.
We have something to give you all. And for you out there, you can't get this little flyer that we're handing out today, but it is it's beautiful. It is a promo piece for the concert on December 6th that Anthony created and is absolutely beautiful. And then on the reverse side of it are the dates and times for our holiday adventures. And on December 2nd, that is the last day for this class. Remember, we're not meeting next week, right?
Right.
I mean, you all can meet and have lunch or something if you like, but I'll be in San Diego. And so we will meet on the first Wednesday in December. That will be our last class for now. Even though the newspaper article says I'm going to be offering a class in the future. So maybe I am. I mean, a class on resilience, which, I mean, this is it. So anyway, on December 2nd, Mackie, why don't you hand them out right there, please? On December 2nd, after this class, anyone who would like to help decorate for Christmas, please stay. We'll have a little pizza party and decorate the church for Christmas on December 2nd.
December 2nd.
Okay. All right. So, Kathy, do you want to say anything? Any house?
Just remember the people who are on Zoom to keep yourselves on mute unless you need to talk. And if I see that you're not on mute and you're not talking, I'll probably put you on mute and then you'll have to unmute yourself. I can't unmute you. And those of you in the classroom, just remember when you're talking, project your voice into the microphone. Don't look at Reverend Sharon or the TV or each other. The microphone needs to hear your voice so that the rest of us can hear your voice.
What should we call the microphone, Kath? Since we're speaking to it personally.
That's true. That's a good way to deal with it, to give it a name. I don't know.
Frank?
Friend.
Oh, friend?
Friend?
Call it walking stick or talking stick.
Talking stick. That's true, huh? It's like a talking stick. Thanks.
Just call it Mike.
What?
Mike.
His name is Mike.
Yeah. Our friend Mike.
I've got the Tower of Babel going on here. I'm not sure. Okay. I have a couple of, well, you see the study guide up there on the screen, but I have a couple of quotes that I'd like to share with you and have you just breathe it in and see what comes to mind that you might want to share with the group. So this is again from Carolyn Mace's book, Anatomy of Spirit. And in that book, Carolyn dissects the chakra system, which is what we're doing here. We're looking at the power centers in the body. For when we're talking chakra system, there are not 12 powers, there are 7 in her book anyway. And she uses as a jumping off point, St. Teresa of Avila's book, Inner Mansions, where St. Teresa, metaphorically speaking, plumbs the depths of the soul. And that's what Carolyn took her material and what she knows about the chakra system, the energy centers. And remember, she's an intuitive healer and wrote the book, Anatomy of Spirit. Charles Fillmore did that exact same thing with the 12 powers. And he used not St. Teresa of Avila's experience, but the disciples, Jesus' experience and life with 12 creative powers called the disciples. Okay, so here's what she says. The thread common to all spiritual myths is that human beings are compelled to merge our bodies with the essence of God. It's a very powerful statement. We are compelled. I think of it as impelled because it comes from in here, but it's both, isn't it? Because the Spirit of God is the everywhere transcendent presence of God is seeking us as much as we seek that presence. So it's, for me, it's compelling and impelling. Anyway, she says, compelling us to merge our bodies with the essence of God, that we want to have the divine in our bones and blood and in our mental and emotional makeup. Because divine energy is inherent in our biological system, every thought that crosses our mind, every belief we nurture, every memory to which we cling translates into a positive or negative command to our bodies and spirits. What do you think about that? Any comments?
Makes perfect sense to me.
Darlene says it makes perfect sense to her.
Yeah. Because we're all working towards getting back together again, if you want to use that term.
Divine unification. Any other comments?
It's all
Well-
It's all encompassing. Yeah. Do you mean the thought, Linda?
yes.
Is all it is, isn't it?
Well, and
Anybody?
I think when you look at every thought, memory, belief that we nurture translates into action or into manifestation. That's, you know, you can see it in your own life. If you see the blessings in life, if you focus on the positives, you do have a better outlook on life. Things happen um, that you enjoy, that are beneficial to you. But if you are always in the negative, you become depressed. You don't see the good in people or in things. So I think
It
it's
is,
hard sometimes, but you know, it's hard to keep that belief, that thought always in the positive. Um, but
and
but
why
if you
would you
do,
say, why do you say it's hard, Sandy?
I think we are all impacted by the energies of others. That's what I've learned by doing energy work. We actually do get other energy stuff stuck in our field, and if we don't take care of ourselves, we haven't learned a lot about our energy fields yet. Some people haven't. Some people have learned a lot, but if we don't take care of our whole being, spiritual side, emotional side, mental side, physical side, then we allow other people's energy to affect us. We allow the negative to affect us and becomes hard or difficult to see the positive sometimes. For some reason, it seems easier sometimes to just go along with the crowd.
To go
So,
along with the crowd? Is that what you said?
This is Kathy. I had an experience when I was brand new real estate agent. I was hungry for getting clients, and so pretty much would take just about anybody on. But I got a referral and talked to the woman, and all she told me about was how everybody who she's ever done business with has screwed her over.
Oh, gee.
And she just had one story after another. And I knew that I did not want to work for this woman because she was calling all of this negativity into her life by expecting it, because she really had an expectation of horrible things happening. And I knew that if I worked with her, I would probably fulfill her expectation, and I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, I hear you. Interesting, interesting. To say nothing of her energy exhausting you.
Mhm.
isn't that the seeing is believing as opposed to believing is seeing?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Anybody here in the class want to comment?
This is Maria. Can you hear me?
Can you hear Maria, y'all, out there in the ethers? No.
They said no. I'll stand up. That's okay, I'll stand up.
Great, Maria. This reminds me of my high school education where you had to stand if you were going to answer.
And I hated that. I never answered. I was kind of the back and they always anyway, I'll make this short. Can you hear me now? Yes. I'm going through an experience right now. I'm not gonna get into detail, but it kind of touches what you just said. Someone else's negativity affects you whether you want it to or not. So I've been handling that in a way that it's kind of tough going through it because you tell yourself, okay, this is not for
Wait,
me.
I tell myself,
I tell myself, this is not for me. And I go into that mode where I build a block,
Mhm,
I build a wall.
mhm.
And then I start praying and try to go within myself and just ask God to guide me because it's really a hard situation to find yourself when someone that you truly love that causes certain things that you can't handle or I can't change. I can change thoughts. I can change anything that's going on because that person is so strong in whatever he or she believes in. So all the pain that I have felt through my life has started to surface.
Mm.
And he put me in a situation where I literally had to call Sandy. And Sandy helped me to realize that I cannot let other emotions or beliefs take control of me. So I've been opening myself to just doing changes on my own, to be able to be free, to be able to empower myself to do better. Because I'm not thinking it out, that's the way I look at it. So but it does, what I'm trying to get at is that no matter how much we hold all those feelings down inside, there's always something that brings it up. And I'm struggling with that right now. But I'm doing the best I can in just being positive and thinking positive and doing everything that's going to make me happy. Forget about the other world.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you. Did you all hear her? I hope. Say yes or no. I heard her. Yes. Little bit. Okay. Well, so Maria brought up a number of things worth exploring here, and one of them is, what do we do? Well, let me see which one I want to go for first. I think I want to go for first the benefit of non-resistance to what comes up in us. So, you know, what you resist, finish the sentence. What I resist persists. Because when I'm resisting it, I'm giving it my faith. I'm giving it my full attention and fighting it, so to speak. And that makes it even bigger than it would be if I didn't fight it. So Maria was talking about something now is triggering a host of negative experiences and hurt and pain that she's had in her life, and it's very difficult for her. And I say, because of what I just read, because what we lock inside affects us beyond what we're aware of, because we're taking our consciousness somewhere else other than what's going on in here. We've got it locked, so to speak, but it doesn't mean it's not doing something. So when the past comes up, it comes up to be healed. And that doesn't mean it's easy or comfortable, but we have powers in here, creative energy, to begin to erase those feelings and emotions from our energetic body. And the key power is, who can tell me what the key power is that I'm thinking of here? Read my mind. Begins with A-R, the letter R. Well, in order to be resilient, what do we have to do?
It's the power of November.
What?
It's the power of November.
Yes.
Renunciation.
Release. Release.
Renunciation.
Renunciation, yeah.
What, Jim?
Renunciation.
Renunciation, yes. 3 words describe that power, the work of that power: release, renunciation, and elimination. And it actually, it is not complicated. It's so simple, it escapes us. All we do is say no, say no. I see you, a feeling comes up. I see you, I bless you, and I release you.
When you say release, what do you mean?
I mean, it's like, imagine erasing a word that you just wrote with your pencil. Wrong word, I don't want that word.
So if someone comes into your life and makes you
Energy.
prompt, and you have this feeling, and you know it's not good for you, and you should release it. So how exactly do you do that?
Oh, well, that was Terry saying, how do you release it? If someone comes into your life with negative energy, how do you release it? You can't release their energy. All you can do is protect yourself, surround yourself in light. And I mean, I don't always remember do this either, but it is the power, the creative power of love, and all of the wardrobe of love. So the wardrobe of love can be kindness, compassion, generosity, open-heartedness, warm-heartedness, courageous heart. The wardrobe of love, the way that love can express. It doesn't mean that you condone the behavior, but when you send love, you are sending healing energy, and that's a blessing to both people. When you send love in the face of, which is very, very demanding. It's very demanding when you have someone in your space that is, let's say, angry or depressed or difficult. It takes, number one, it takes the courage to walk away. It takes the courage to say, wait a minute, I really can't listen to this. And it, at the same time, takes great presence and willingness to offer, not necessarily verbally, but offer compassion. Like, if they could do better, they would do better. We all would, right? If I could do better, I would. But you know, we all have, including me, have blind spots where we don't see what we're doing. We're doing it, but we're not realizing it, you know, or it's doing something in us beyond what we are aware of. Was that helpful? Yes.
Actually,
Renee.
back to that, just a quick question.
Yes, loud and
After
clear.
Renunciation, what did you say? I see you. How did that go? And I release you.
What did I say? I see you. I see you and I let you go. I mean, it's to,
I think you also added, I bless you.
oh, thank you, Sandy.
Mhm.
I see you, I bless you, I release you. I see you, I bless you, I release you. Okay. Any other comments on that?
Did anybody else get the email today from Unity headquarters about the release and let go? where they're having the burning bowl ceremony in January?
No, I mean, I might have it there. I didn't see it yet.
Okay,
No, you're talking about Unity Village?
yeah, yes.
No, but we're having one, Eileen.
Oh, okay,
We're having one and we are live streaming it.
okay.
New Year's Eve. And then we're gonna dance in the street.
With our masks on.
Maybe the parking lot,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Around the back.
lights out.
Okay, I'm moving forward here, and now I am going to just ask everyone to take a deep breath and think of one thing you're grateful for. And why is Reverend Sharon doing that? Because we want to get to the material. I'm doing that because gratitude creates an energy field for maximizing the blessings. So one thing that you're grateful for, and I'm going to start with those who are out there in the ethers. So let's start with you, Kath. One thing you're grateful for.
It's hard to come down to just one thing, so I'll just mention the first thing that came to my mind. Sharon Rodriguez. She's such a wonderful volunteer. She comes every Thursday. Matt gave her her own key because she's that dependable. And so she comes every Thursday and she just works on books, and just does her own thing, and she does it beautifully. So I'm really appreciative of her.
She could have been a university librarian. She really has put our library together and manages the books that come into us that we put on Amazon.
Excuse me, I think it's her birthday today.
Yeah, it is. She's on my list to call. It's Sharon Rodriguez's birthday today. Yeah. Okay, let me go to Eileen and Judy. I'm going to the top of my screen. So Eileen, one thing you're grateful for?
I'm grateful for my Amazon Kindle because I can have 3 or 4 of your books and Carolyn Mace's books and everybody else in one place.
How cool is that? Thank you. Judy?
Yes, I think what you quote from Carolyn Mace is very relevant. And I'm very grateful for being able to implement some of my artwork that I haven't done before. And
Oh,
all these things are kind of cool. Thank you.
very cool. Thank you. Jim?
Well, right now, at this moment, I've got to say I'm most grateful for this book called Resilience.
Yeah.
I read 3 chapters this morning, the last 3, and they only got better and better and better. And they have touched my heart and my soul. And I hope the feeling stays with me for a while.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jim. Thank you. I like the beard, Jim. Sandy?
I think this week I am grateful for spirit pushing me out of my comfort zone and out of my recliner. So just kind of whirled me into a new thing, and I'm very excited for that. So
I'm more excited than you are.
yeah.
Sandy volunteered to yesterday. We talked about our outreach program where we have fed the homeless, and then Betsy Horton, holy cow, that's a name from way back when. Betsy Dreyfus and Norma make those great jams and jellies that we sell here. So Sandy and Levon, Jim's bride, joined us, and Sandy agreed to lead the effort of an outreach ministry for our church. So thank you, Sandy.
I would say spirit volunteered me. Had no idea what was coming out of my mouth, but There it was.
I wish
Kinda
you all
shocked me. I did not come with that intent.
I just say. Okay, thanks, Sandy. Moving along here. Susie, what are you grateful for today? Unmute yourself, Susie. There you go.
Okay, I'm grateful for our 7-year-old granddaughter who has COVID and has no signs of it. And she's basically was a, what do you call it? Medically challenged infant and child because she has respiratory issues. So very grateful she has no problems. Her parents do, but she doesn't. So
Oh, wow. Thank you. Yeah, what's her name?
Isabella.
Isabella.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Harold. Oh, I mean Howard.
Harold, yeah, Harold.
I'm sorry, Shirley. I didn't get you. I'm grateful for what I'm always grateful for.
Don't.
Susan, I'm sorry. That's
Why?
that always, when you say, what are you grateful for? There's Susan.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. Thanks, Howard. Jody.
Good morning. The first thing that came to mind for me, what I'm grateful for today is the correspondence that I'm having with my son. And his 18-year-old daughter died suddenly in an automobile accident 6 weeks ago. And of course, I went to Florida to be with the whole family. But for me, picking and choosing how to correspond with him now, especially at a distance like I am, and picking and choosing words and how often, but he's starting after 6 weeks to send me a message first. And so that's what came to mind, how grateful I am that my correspondence is going as well as I could imagine right now after having such a tragedy in our family. I see you. Thank you so much.
Yes, thanks, Jody. That's wonderful. Driving into church this morning, I was thinking of the extraordinary power of words. Words can make or break a life, a relationship. Words can change a life, lift a life, empower a life. Words are so important, aren't they?
They truly are. And I pray on my words when I'm corresponding with him and others too. It's, it's just a practice. But you're so right. It's so powerful.
Yeah. Okay, Sig, hi Sig. Unmute, Siggy.
Okay, there we are. Okay, I have to say, I am very grateful and blessed that I'm able to practice the common sense that God gave me.
Oh, thank you. Pass it on. Thanks, Carol.
Well, like Jim, I have to say I'm grateful for your book because I think it's a really powerful book. And I'm also grateful for increasing energy in my life.
Oh, fabulous, fabulous. I know that's been a prayer of yours. Bill?
I'm grateful because for Monday and Tuesday, I was spending 3 hours a day waiting for different people at Blue Cross Blue Shield to help me change my prescription program. And finally, with Carol's suggestion, I called one more time and got a guy by the name of Skylar, who solved everything in 20 minutes.
Oh, God bless Skylar.
Yes.
Thank you, Bill. And Arlene? Hi, Arlene. One thing you're grateful for, Arlene. Arlene, are you there? Unmute, Arlene. There you are.
I thought you were saying Eileen, I'm sorry. My gratitude this morning is very basic. I had a doctor's appointment yesterday, just routine, a checkup, but I had asked my daughter to take me and it was inconvenient for her. I managed to get my walker into and out of the car and into and out of the doctor's office all by myself.
Whoa.
At 89 years old, I just thought that was kind of an accomplishment, and I was thankful.
That's amazing. Fabulous. Congratulations. Thank you. How's Jimmy?
Jimmy is doing okay. He's not real great. And I do want to thank Renee because she gave a beautiful point or prayer for him. And this one, he said that it made him peaceful to hear her prayer. So I really thank her for being so patient with her prayers for him.
Oh, yeah. We'll keep Jimmy in our prayers. He's fallen, and fairly recently he fell into a cactus plant.
Oh, no.
Yeah, yeah. So we see Jimmy healed and re-energized. Boy, it's good to. You're welcome. Thank you, Arlene. Who else have I got here? Oh, there you are, Elva. What are you grateful for, Elva? Unmute. There you go.
I just want to say I'm grateful for the wisdom of the doctors and scientists coming up with a quick vaccine in the near future.
Yay.
I'm glad for that.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a great thought for all of us to hold, right? Gratitude in advance. We give thanks in advance that the serum that we need to preclude anyone getting the virus and healing ones that do.
I was just going to say something real quick. Is when they were talking about vaccine, I can remember I was one of the first generation. I was in kindergarten when they gave the first polio shot. I think it was 1953, and the first shot I ever had. But I remember telling, I said, "Wow, I was that first generation." They came up with it real quick. They said too.
Yeah, we are human. The human creativity is infinite. Infinite. There's nothing that we can't resolve. There's a solution for everything. And as Wayne Dyer said, there's a spiritual solution for every problem. And begins with faith, right? Faith. Okay, now we're coming to the classroom, and speak loud and clear so the folks out in the ethers can hear you. Darlene, one thing you're grateful for.
Well, I'm thankful and grateful that last week is over. And I am grateful, I have to say, for Sharon and for Renee, who have helped support me during a bump in the road.
A bump in the road. There you go. Thank you. Maria, one thing you're grateful for.
I am thankful and grateful for being here with all of you. Even all of you, I mean, all.
Oh,
Every single one.
thank you. Marie's grateful for being with all of us. Linda.
I'm grateful for a beautiful day.
Yeah. Thank you. Terry?
I'm grateful for my art. Been a lifelong artist, and it's given me a livelihood and a refuge and a way to share something of myself with other people.
Oh.
Teaching and showing it.
Oh, you have, well, we've got Susie here. Terry is an artist. Where's Susie? I just saw her. Susie, see, wave, Susie, wave. There she is. Okay, Susie's an artist. Terry's an artist. Terry's here in the classroom. And so she's grateful for this creative gift she has. Yeah.
Okay.
Renee.
This may sound a bit ethereal, but I'm grateful for life. The mystery of it. And speaking of words being powerful, I read God is life, with a capital L. And when you first wake up in the morning, and it's a gift. It's like you're my little friend, but it's life watching me doing my thing. It's just a 4-letter word, life.
A beautiful 4-letter word. Huh?
Yeah.
Thanks, Renee.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that I get to see the lights of my life, my 2 children for Thanksgiving. My daughter's coming in from Dallas, and we're going to stay at my son's house. And they just got, my son and his bride, my daughter-in-law, got 2 puppy pugs.
Oh.
And I'm getting my puppy French bulldog Wednesday. So it's going to be 3 puppies in this house and all these people.
Oh, wow.
How fun. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's take a look. Are we ready to move here to the study guide? Did someone have their hand up? If you did, I didn't see it. If you
Kathy keeps trying to say something.
Kath, where are you, Kath?
No, somebody came in the office. I was talking.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, so let's go to the study guide and what Charles Fillmore said in the 12 Powers of Man. He said, to be without zeal is to be without a zest for living. Zeal and enthusiasm incite to glorious achievement in every aim. It is the impulse to go forward. Any comments? Do you all have your zeal on today?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't wear orange. I wore my pink, my love. I'm wearing my love today on my shirt sleeve.
Where it belongs.
No comments there. Then we go to metaphysics is a part of our spiritual education and enrichment program. And it was what I took when I was studying for the ministry. So this is from Metaphysics 2. Life is the faculty of movement, vitality, wholeness, and creativity. It is the expression of the pure, eternal life of God in us. That 4-letter word.
Yeah.
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 And does anyone remember the color of zeal?
The green.
Orange.
Orange.
Oh.
Orange. Zeal is orange, like on the Kleenex box. Orange. And the color of life is now common sense. Who said common sense? I think it was Sig. Common sense. The color of life is?
Red.
Yes, red. Red, like our blood. Like our blood. So orange and red. Any comments on either of those 2 quotes? Otherwise, I'm moving on. Going, gone. Okay, key ideas. Kathy, would you read number 1 for us?
Activated zeal creates a learner mindset. It is freedom of spirit released as a result of spiritual practice and realization of our true divine nature.
Yeah. So well, I won't comment. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Any comments on that one? Activated zeal, as opposed to sleeping, unactivated zeal. So as you consider where you're at today, would you say you have a learner mindset or no?
Activated zeal is the concept of enthusiasm and eagerness to go on, and you've got a mindset of, what am I going to experience? What am I going to learn? What am I embarking on here? Is it going to be fun? Is it going to be exciting? That anticipation of,
I like that word.
Zeal pushing you.
So, that when Jim says that, it communicates to me a real openness, right? Rather than being closed down, a real openness to the unknown even, right? As well as what we know and look forward to.
But it's saying that it comes from spiritual practice and realizing our true divine nature.
Yeah.
It's like we have to do something.
We do have to do something. Yeah. Yeah. Orange may not be everybody's color, but when you're feeling when you're feeling maybe stuck or not very energized, surround yourself with orange and see what happens.
It reminds me when I was younger, I painted my kitchen pattern is orange. There's also something there.
Yeah.
Could I ask?
Oh, I like that. So Terry was saying that in a painting, if you want to add a little life to it, put just a little touch of zeal in it, and it adds vitality and life. How cool is it? Ooh, that gives me chills. Okay.
And wait a minute, I had a teacher once who always said, put a spot of red in your painting somewhere, so who knows?
And a spot of red too, huh?
But meanwhile, what I was gonna ask her, an observation, I don't know. You know, sometimes you look around and it's, people all have the same color on that day, more reds, or one day it's blues. Do you think there's any connection with that? There must be, of how
I think so.
feel day.
I think so. What do you think, Susan?
Yeah, I think so. I've always looked at that and wondered, but I've got to now look at it differently and figure it out. Thank you.
Well, you know what, I mean, you make a good point, a point worth considering. So if you think about, has there been a time in your life where there was a certain color you just didn't like, you just want to see, it certainly isn't in your closet, and when you see it, you kind of go, ah.
No.
Remember? So if you associate, put that next to now, put that next to the powers that we know. So I'll just run through them quickly for you. Faith is like royal blue. Imagination is light blue. Understanding is gold. Will is silver. Power is purple. Yeah, it's in your book. Power is purple. Zeal is orange. Love is pink. Wisdom is yellow. Light green, like Linda has on, is strength. Deep green, like emerald green, is divine order. Release is russet. And life is red. So if you think about, are there colors that, I don't like that color. Yeah.
Certain times in my life, like when I was a teenager, I wore a lot of red. And then later on, I wore a lot of yellow. Don't we got to go through stages?
I think so.
We pick a color and we kind of stay with it. Does that tell you something about where you're at?
I think so. I mean, that's what I think. Take what you like and leave the rest. That's my disclaimer. Turquoise, well, sometimes turquoise is associated with divine order. Sometimes it is. Your favorite color, divine order? Well, that fits, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm moving on unless there are other comments out there. No. So zeal, number 2, zeal generates courage, optimism, and enthusiasm. It generates it in us, the creative power of zeal. And how do we, pause for a moment here. If you wanted to increase the energy of zeal, what would you do?
How about doing the things that make you make me feel good? The things
Good,
that
good.
help me to feel good about whatever situation you're in.
So Maria was responding, if she wanted to put some enthusiasm and energy in her life, she would do what makes her happy. She would do what brings her joy, what feels good. Anybody else?
Wear orange.
Wear orange. Anybody else?
Work out. Exercise.
Exercise. Oh, listen to you.
I don't, but it helps.
Get your pickleball racket out. Yes, exercise. Because it it energizes, it opens the cells and atoms of our being to move the body. Okay, any other comments on number 2?
Be out in nature.
Be out in nature. That's a good way to get energy, right? Another thing is to, well, anybody else before, I don't want to comment. In case, get a puppy. Ah, yeah.
Sharon, it's Jody, and I keep looking at this statement. You know, I can be optimistic easily and quickly, and I can have enthusiasm very easily and quickly, but courage, as I'm just kind of looking at it and thinking about it, I realize that I have to cough up some courage pretty regularly. I believe that I need to be courageous every day.
Yeah. Yeah. It, huh?
She said cough it up.
Cough it up is a wonderful metaphor. It's a wonderful metaphor. Yes, because I remember the woman who started the program that I went to become a life coach. She would say when someone felt a little stuck, when they were holding back, she would say, "Come on, cough it up, cough it up." And zeal is a wonderful support for doing what we're afraid to do. It's reciprocal. The more we act courageously, the more zeal we have, or the more of the zeal, natural zeal in us is evolved. And this, you know, this whole thing for me is about maximizing the spiritual potential in each of those powers. And they don't, we're clear, I hope I've been clear in the book, they don't operate disparately, they work together. There's a wholeness there, so those powers work together. You can't have one without the other. What's that song? Love and marriage, love. Sorry, that's a bad song for some of us. Okay, number 3.
Reverend Sue.
Yes.
Sharon, I just wanted to mention on that last one, when you're talking about courage, enthusiasm, you know, I always like to use, go back to my theater days. You know, it gave me, rehearsals were easy because there was no audience. But when the opening night came, you got a packed house, you're scared. But you know, you're energized because you want to do this character so well that people love it and give you a good applaud. So, you know, you don't, that I think that reminds me of that. The enthusiasm, you know, the optimism, looking forward to, and the, you know, the courage to go ahead and, even though you might forget a line or two, but you learn that happens. But
so
anyway,
thank you, Alva. That was a great example. A great example in a number of ways. One is Alva was talking about a passion of his, right, Alva? Being in the theater was a passion of yours.
Yeah, I loved it, but you know, it's always easy. Oh, I want to get in a play, but when you're rehearsing, it's easy because there's nobody there but just the other actors. Right. But when it comes, okay, we got a full house, there are 500 people out there going to watch you, and you go, oh God, and you got Shakespeare, who I did Polonius once, and if you've ever seen Hamlet, Polonius has 100,000 lines. But if you really believe you are that individual, you'll go through it and you'll forget lines, but you won't stop and nobody knows the difference. I always like to say, the only time somebody might know you blew a line is if you're playing Hamlet and you say, to be, and then forget the other half. That would be, yeah, that would be noticeable.
Thanks, Elva. Yeah, so there's something about what lights us up being way stronger than what holds us back. What lights us up is way more powerful than what we're afraid of, which is why it's so important to get clear about what lights us up and do it.
I think after that, we can say what lights us up is laughter and smiling.
Yes, yes, absolutely. To be or not to be, that is the question, huh, Elva? And zeal helps us to be.
That's what I use for my name when people don't understand my name. Because it's Hubbard, but it's what one B, and I always say, remember to be or not to be.
Good one, good one. Okay, Howard, would you read number, wait, where? Would you read number 4 for us, Howard? Please.
Sure. Life is the spiritual energy that propels all form into action.
Good, huh? What do you think about that? Life is a spiritual energy that propels all form into action. We'd be horizontal and not talking. Yeah, life is a spiritual energy. Let's take a look at the
Sharon?
question. Yes.
What other word would you put in place of form?
Oh, manifestation.
Okay.
Let me see if I can think of another word. Matter, M-A-T-T-E-R.
Okay.
Energy.
Well, life is the energy that propels, that propels an idea into manifestation also. It says propels all form. Life is
the spiritual substance.
It is. It is.
This is Howard. I think the way I see it is life is spiritual.
It is.
You know, we often think of spiritual as something ethereal that we don't necessarily deal with, but I think that statement is saying life is spiritual.
It is, because God is life. God is the creative source of all that is, and life is the energy that, as it says, propels everything we see into activity. So in unity, we say you and I are an idea in the mind of God that has manifested. The life of God spawned you and I through two people.
That is wherever we are, God is.
Say more.
That's why how God is everywhere. We are life.
Yes, that's why God is everywhere, right? Or it's God everywhere. Because there's no place where life is not. Okay, number 1 in the questions. Was there anyone else who had their hand up or wanted to say something? Okay, then let's take a look at the first part, or the first, number 1 here. Share a time when your zest for life seemed almost depleted and what turned it around.
Oh, I have a good one.
What?
It has to do with when I was younger. Can you hear me? This is Maria.
Keep talking, Maria.
Okay. On my first marriage, I got pregnant the second time, and it wasn't going well. So I discovered I was pregnant, and I didn't want to be pregnant. I was very depressed, and for some reason, I just couldn't do anything about it. So I prayed, and I got a vision of a little girl. and it was my daughter. So that made me go ahead and continue with it. But in the same thought, I decided that after I have my child, I would not stay. And that's what made me just have a different outlook in life. And when I made up my mind, I just went ahead and did it. I took my 2 children and just moved on.
Great.
So that was to me my zest for life, because I wanted something different. I wanted something much better for me and my children. And that's when it all began.
Well, you know, and what I heard also as a beginning for you, as the impetus was you were pregnant, but you didn't want to be. So zest for life depleted, diminished. Whenever we get into what we don't want, right? What's not working. And so how do we turn that around into a solution? So you said you prayed. That's significant. And I would say that as a result of your prayer, you had a vision. I mean, there was some openness in you with the prayer. You had the vision of your daughter, which gave you the energy to not only continue the pregnancy, but to then create a better life. Yeah. Evolution. Anybody else on number? Thanks, Maria. Anybody else on number 1?
This is Eileen.
Eileen.
Years ago, it's been 16 years now, 14 years, my best friend died. And it was a sudden death. The very same day my sister was having open heart surgery, and I was really, you know, on edge because of that. And so late at night, I finally got the word that my sister was going to be okay, but then Judy called to tell me that my best friend had died. And that was so devastating, because I was so excited for 1 second and then so depressed the next minute that it was really hard for me to be in those 2 energies at the same time.
Right.
And so finally, one of my good friends invited me out to start golfing again. And that got me moving and up doing things and outside and being with people and camaraderie. And it was the best thing for me, because now I had a new love for golfing again, and to be with people instead of, you know, being depressed. And that was great.
So what would you say the key was in that, Eileen?
I think that it was to turn my focus to something else other than the death, to life and energy and movement, to make a change from where I was in that depressed state to looking forward and getting outside and having that sunlight and green grass, and at the same time realizing, you know, that I could make a connection still with my friend, even though she was gone, and develop that inner connection with God as well. And so it was just all of those things together that really energized me again.
And so thank you. What I want to mention here that I think was a part of what Eileen shared is how we are instrumental in each other's healing. So your friend that called you to come outside and get together, you know, in other words, live again, made a difference. Anybody else on number 1? Howard, unmute. Howard, unmute.
I'd like to, the first surgery I ever had many years ago, I must have been anxious or something, because when I came to, the nurse touched me on the shoulder and called my name. I will always remember that touch. They don't do that anymore. They'd stand back and call your name and say, Howard, wake up, Howard, wake up. But this was back when they could touch, and I'll always remember the touch. I knew I was alive. I knew I was through the procedure. And anyway, we'll always remember that touch.
So that sort of relates to how we can be instruments for each other in coming alive and healing. Yeah, thanks, Howard. Let's do number 2. Where do you know? I better put my glasses on. Where do you notice zeal expressing in your life right now? Where do you notice zeal expressing in your life right now? Yes, Darlene.
When I have balance, which is my favorite word, balance, because I have a tendency to get off balance at times.
In what way?
I end up either trying to do too much or take care of what needs to be taken care
of. Beyond the maximization of it.
Right.
So that is a great example of overbalanced zeal. When we take on too much, do too much, don't stop and come back to center like a grandfather clock, right? Great. Anybody else? Thanks, Darlene. Anybody else on number 2? Where do you notice zeal expressing in your life? Darlene said she notices it in
Sharon, this is Jody.
Yeah.
That's such a great question to take a minute to notice where the zeal is expressing in my life. And I go back up to the one that I discussed about zeal generates courage, optimism, and enthusiasm. And that's how I see it working in my life, because I do have enthusiasm despite things that are going on around me everywhere in every which way. And I still have optimism also, which lets me know that that zeal is working in my life for me. And I do have courage. I do have courage. So that's how I'm seeing it work in my life, especially with the times in which I'm living right now. I'm very happy for my zeal.
Great, great, and important. Thank you. Anyone else?
Happening after I've let go of something or released something or just waited quietly believing something better was coming. It inevitably leads me to something that is life-changing or just opens me up in a way that I wouldn't have been opened if I hadn't just believed that something better was coming or that I just needed to rest and wait. So an example is just exactly what just happened yesterday, because I had said, you know, there's just something missing and I could not find it. And I kept trying to find, what could I do? Why is something missing in my life? And I finally just let it go. I finally just said, well, it's going to appear when it appears. And it appeared yesterday really quickly. And, and there it is. And all of a sudden there is zeal. So it happens for me after I rest, wait, believe, release.
Yes, and I think it also, thanks, Sandy, also speaks to what your example and everyone that shared speaks to a certain kind of openness. And when I think of openness, I think of spiritual maturity or spiritual growth, where our practice shows up, or let me say it this way, the effect of our committed practice shows up as an openness to life and an openness to divine guidance, so that we recognize it when it comes to us. Like Sandy's saying, she suddenly said yesterday, I'll do it. Yeah, what a surprise, huh? Thank you. Anyone else on number 2? Okay, number 3. When do you feel most creative and full of life? When do you feel most creative and full of life?
When I'm around people.
Darlene said when she's around people, she feels most creative and full of life. Oh, great. Well,
This is Kathy. When I'm working.
I've noticed that myself about you. I love Kathy. She laughs easily, especially at me.
I do.
When do you feel most creative? Thanks, Kath. When do you feel most creative and full of life? Kathy said at work. How about you guys? Terry? Yes. Great. So Terry said when she's teaching art with other people. There's something about community and sharing good energy, isn't there? Yeah. So sitting in an art class, people are expectant and excited or they wouldn't be there, right? So automatically you have good energy. Who else? Anybody else?
I feel most creative when I'm cooking.
When you're cooking?
Yeah.
Oh, when are we all coming over?
I don't know if I have a big enough pot for everybody.
I would say cleaning for me.
Cleaning?
Cleaning. I love to clean.
Well, that's your divine order turquoise.
Maybe.
Love to
I
clean.
need somebody else to cook. I hate to cook.
Tell her to come to my house and clean and I'll cook for her.
All right.
Such a deal. Were you going to say something, Renee?
Yeah, being in nature, like camping.
Oh.
And also music. Especially like sacred music. It really lifts me up.
Okay, great.
And metaphysical discussion. I could do that all day.
It's who you are.
It feeds me.
Yeah. So I don't know if all of you heard her, but Renee said when she's in nature and sacred music lifts her up, energizes her. I agree. Have any of you ever gotten to? I'm thinking a minute about how to best articulate this, so I'm clear with you. Gotten to the point where I know how to say it. When your endorphins were all over the place and you were blissed out.
Yeah. When I was teaching.
What? When I'm teaching? Darlene is blissed out when she's teaching.
After I do healings.
After what?
After I do my healings or my intuitive readings, it's afterwards, it's just, you're in a whole different place.
Yeah,
I'm
blissed
in a
out.
whole different place.
Let's get blissed.
At a campfire.
At a
Watching stars at night.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I can see that in my mind's eye.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jim, when are you blissed out? Mr. Rasmussen?
It has to be when I'm teaching. I was a student of Consuelo Newton in a practice called integrated awareness. And after that, I did readings for people for, 4 or 5 years. And like Sandy just said, after doing a reading, you just felt so invigorated and so full of all of the life that you could possibly experience.
Yeah. I think part of that, look and see, Jim and Sandy and all of us, look and see if part of that experience of fullness of life doesn't come from giving yourself to something or someone.
Without a doubt.
Whether it's a night in the forest or a night in the fire.
Without a
What,
doubt,
Jim?
that's the way it is.
Say that again, Jim.
Without a doubt, that's the
Oh.
way it is. The giving nature, you know, it's another time I experience is as after singing the Lord's Prayer at the Unity Spiritual Center.
Yeah.
You know, it's
I can
immediately
imagine.
after
Yeah.
that kind of experience.
For me,
Yeah.
it's the connection with spirit more
Is that
than,
you, Sandy?
yeah, for me, it's the connection to spirit when I'm doing the readings or doing healing work. It's, I don't feel a giving, I just feel a all encompassed connection, and it just fills me up. So.
Great, thank you, thank you. Let's look at number 4 for a minute. Share some of the things that are life-giving to you. So some of you have shared that. What's life-giving to you? The intuitive readings, Sandy healing touch. What's life-giving? Campfires and stars at night, teaching an art class.
Sharing these kinds of experiences with others.
Sharing these kinds of experiences with others, Linda says.
Holding my grandsons for the first time.
Seeing your grandson for the first time?
Holding my grandsons for the first time.
Oh, yes. Maria, what is it that's life-giving for you? I'll come back to you. Darlene?
Helping.
Helping is life-giving. Susie, what's life-giving to you? Susie and Howard.
I just love to see the ocean. The thought of it brings me to tears. So I used to always, when we lived closer to the ocean, go to the ocean, and that would just calm me down, reinvigorate me, get me going again. So
yeah,
I miss the waves.
Thanks, Susie. I relate to that. Howard, I know what you're going to say, Howard. I know what you're going to say.
No, you change the subject.
To me, life-giving, the thing I enjoy most is watching a child grow, learn, change, develop, over time. It's just so amazing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You can say one word once and they capture it. It might be a bad word, so be careful.
Yes. How is it that little children learn the word no first?
They hear it
all the time. Like a mantra, no.
And they hear their name all the time.
That's true, right?
And no.
Yeah.
When I was little, I didn't say the word no as much as I said I do. And that just meant I do. I'm gonna do it. No one's stopping me. And I don't think I said no as much as I said I do.
I love it. I love it.
So when I got married, I do.
Oh. The practices. Create a goal that energizes you, and it can be a simple goal, but anything that energizes you, just to think about it and take one small step this week to act on it. It doesn't have to be a big thing, but something that energizes you just to think about it. I'm thinking about.
Sharon, can my step yesterday count?
Does your what?
My step yesterday count?
Well, it counts for me.
I just wondered if it could count as my one small step this week.
That was a huge step. Yeah, that was a huge step. Thank you.
A Wendy's Frosty.
What did you say?
A Wendy's Frosty.
Oh, gosh, I'm salivating. Yes. Number 2, do at least one thing this week that is life-giving to you. It can be very simple. Do one thing. So I'm talking about 2 things here. Number 1 refers to zeal and life, and number 2 refers to life and zeal. Both energies, both creative energies. One feeds the other. A reminder, you guys, we're doing a candle lighting service here in church live, and we're live streaming it. And I'm thinking about doing a labyrinth walk on Christmas Eve as well. I haven't quite nailed that one down, but definitely candle lighting. And then New Year's Eve, a burning bowl live and live stream. And then the other side, don't forget that the concert is going to be live and live streamed. And of course, we're doing social distancing for all of it. So the concert is for the music program. We've added musicians that we're paying, and Molly wants to keep expanding the music program, which I totally support and encouraged and asked for. And so in order to do that, we're doing this concert. And those people are volunteering their time. And she's bringing in a taiko drummer, a renowned taiko drummer, who's also volunteering his time. What an incredible gift to us. So please put that on your calendar, and if you're comfortable in church, but definitely you could have a home party. So with the live stream. So all of that being said, take a deep breath and close your eyes, and we'll pray out. And so God, we just give thanks right now. I give thanks for all of these courageous people, open and willing to grow spiritually, being a part of this exploration and spiritual study. I know that their investment in spiritual growth is putting a demand on your goodness in its exquisite forms, and I know you're blessing each and every one here. And we all give thanks together for the spiritual growth that creates a bigger life for all of us, creates more joy, happiness, and peace. We give thanks for the energy, I sure do, that I'm feeling with the season of new birth coming up here as we enter this holiday season with Thanksgiving and then Advent and Christmas. I just give thanks for all of the energy that's being kindled in each of us to enjoy the season in wondrous ways. And so we go into the rest of our day with a sense of enthusiasm, excitement. We are filled with spiritual zeal. Amen. Amen. Have a great day, y'all. Woo!